Go get my who's my favorite TV teacher? Ooh, Dorothy from Peggy Hill. I just started watching that show.
I started watching that since you back here.
I need to mute myself.
Yeah.
Huh?
So I started back watching that since you back here.
Welcome everyone. It is 6:30. If you could go ahead and turn your cameras on to let me know that you're present and your mics off just temporarily as we take turns speaking, that would be wonderful. All right, wonderful. Lovely meeting all of you. My name is Leah Stramp. I'm going to be your instructor for the next couple of weeks as we move through this Classroom Essentials professional development. Quick show of hands, has anyone ever done a professional development with Teach Now before or Moreland University? All right, cool. So that's fine because we're going to go through all of the program details here in just a minute to make sure you're familiar with everything. Let's see, I'm going to check the chat box, see if anyone put a favorite teacher character. No worries if we didn't do that. Not a big deal. I actually can't even remember the name of my favorite teacher character. She's the female wizard teacher from Harry Potter. Anyone know her name?
Which one, McGonagall?
Yeah, that's the one. She's my favorite. My brain was blanking on the name, so thank you for that. Nice to meet you, Jacob. All right, so let's go ahead and take just a quick look at the program overview to get you familiar with how this is going to look over the next couple of weeks. So each week, we're going to have a VC at this time. It's going to be, technically it's about an hour. I tend to finish things a little bit early, so I'll hopefully have you to your own freedom a little bit more quickly than the hour, depending on how much information we have to cover. So 1 hour long Zoom virtual class each week. Each week, the platform will unlock a week's worth of activities for you as well. You have the full week to complete them. They will be due on the platform at midnight, the night before our next VC. So this week's activities will be due next Friday night at midnight as it becomes Saturday morning. Does that make sense? All right. I'll just quickly read what Joey wrote for us here. During your professional development course, you will complete asynchronous activities. You'll engage in learning by exploring articles, watching videos, collaborating with peers, and much more. You'll receive feedback from your cohort peers and from your instructor following your activity submissions. Step 3, after the course, you will receive your professional development credit. Moreland University awards continuing education units or blocks of clock hours upon successful completion of activities. We offer them in blocks of 15 clock hours. So you're welcome to do this via 1, 2, or 4 CEU courses. Impact on teaching and students. Hopefully, you'll take some of what you learn here and implement it into your current teaching, and this will positively impact your teaching and your students for now and for years to come. Just another quick show of hands. I'd love to do just a quick survey here. Has anyone had the opportunity to log into the platform? Give me a quick show of hands. I'd love to see if you've already logged into the platform. All right, excellent. Cool. So I would love to see us. I might, if we have time at the end, I might try and make sure that we all get an opportunity to log in just so we can navigate it together and make sure that you can find where to submit your homework assignments for this so we're all on the same page. A quick look at today's agenda. We'll do our introductions. Welcome to Moreland University. A PD overview. Actually, we're already done with all that. We can move on to our small group activity next. And then an asynchronous assignment overview. All right, let's chat. So this will be a fun one. For this one, we're going to go ahead and use our microphones just so we can make sure all of our audio is working moving forward. I would like to hear your name and get a chance to introduce yourself. Actually, I'd also love to hear what grade you teach and subject area if applicable. So your name, grade, subject area, and I'd love to hear what your strengths, maybe one perceived strength and one perceived weakness regarding classroom management. I'm going to give you a minute of think time for this while you compile your answers, and then we'll go ahead and we'll share verbally. All right, let's go ahead and share. Do I have any volunteers who'd be brave enough to share first? Libby,
Correct,
thank
yeah.
you.
Go ahead.
Hey y'all, my name is Libby Hale. I am the art teacher at Fowler Drive Elementary. So I see all the students in the entire school, pre-K through fifth grade. My strengths for classroom management are probably building relationships. Like I'm really good. I know everybody's name. I have some kind of connection with all of them. So I think that helps a lot with classroom management. I am kind of bad at following through with consequences though. Like they know what my consequences are posted on my wall, but I get so busy during class that sometimes I don't always follow through with those things. And that's like the consistency for me is where I struggle.
I hear that. I think that's a very relatable one, a relatable weakness for sure. Awesome, Libby. Thank you for sharing. All right, who else is ready to share? Thank you.
All right, so I'm Brian Walker. I am an 8th grade science teacher. So at Bernie Harris Lions. The strength for classroom activities, I guess I would say, is I've had a lot of time doing youth programs in academia, but is also through church and extracurricular activities as well. But that goes into my weakness. I've never owned the classroom. So I've been a STEM module teacher as an extracurricular activity, as a engineer working in industry. So now this is my first year as a full-time teacher. So this is my first time, actually owning the classroom, as it were. So I'm coming up to speed on just all that's involved in that ownership.
Absolutely. It's a whole new world when it's your own classroom and you get to set the routines and parameters. Awesome, Brian. Thank you for sharing. All right, who else is ready to share?
Say strength for me, which I've already thought this before you mentioned it, Libby, so I apologize, but I am fairly consistent. If I, have said I'm going to do something, then I will do that. I'll follow through with it, and I'm pretty careful to not over promise if I'm it's not possible for me to follow up. But I would say being a first year teacher, and by the way, I teach 3rd grade. Knowing what those things are that I need routines for. I think maybe my expectations were a little higher than for behavior, I think, than maybe some of the kids were able to kind of keep up with. So
That's totally fair. Consistency is key. I'm glad to hear that. Awesome, Erin. Thank you for sharing. All right, who else is ready?
I'll go ahead. So my name is Jade. I am the behavior support specialist at Coyle Middle School. So I work with all grades. One of my strengths, I would say, is communication and building relationships. That kind of sort of comes easy for me. And one of my weaknesses or areas of growth, I would say maybe being consistent, just being consistent all around. As she said, I'm kind of sort of inconsistent. Like at times they feel like I'm their friend, but I'm really their teacher. So it's like just being consistent.
Yeah, I think consistency is one of the hardest things in the realm of classroom management. But I can see how being a behavioral specialist, the relationship building is really important.
Yes,
But establishing that boundary between friendship and facilitator, definitely also important.
very.
Awesome, Jade. Thank you for sharing. All right, who's next?
Hi, I'll go next. My name is Anthony Williams. I'm an 8th grade social studies teacher at Bernie Harris Lions Middle. my strength and weakness, I think, will be the same. I have a commanding presence for control of my classroom, but what happens is sometimes I feel like I don't give enough grace. I'm almost too strict and to the point, and some children don't handle that well. And so when they push back, I don't do so well with not pushing back at them, and it comes be a back and forth sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely a balance, right? Like you've got to
Mhm.
find where it all fits together.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony.
I'll go.
Thank you.
All right, I'm Kamisha Johnson. I teach 7th grade ELA at Coyle Middle School. One of my strengths will be just building relationships with the students. I enjoy the hugs and just them being able to open up to me. One of my weaknesses is just keeping them engaged from the beginning to the end. So in 7th grade, it's kind of tough. They get to talking, they go other way. So just keeping them engaged from the beginning to the end of the class.
Yeah, I can relate with that. And also, I'm hearing from a lot of middle school teachers here. Middle school is such a tough age, but like when puberty hits, it's just like their
Yeah.
brains are haywire. I work in a K through 12 school as the ESL teacher for the whole school. So I have students ranging from age 5 to age 18. And, you know, the other perk of that is that I get to build relationships for the entire school length that they're there. And so I have some students that I've known since 3rd or 4th grade that are now 8th graders. And when they were like just the sweetest, most loving children, they're like wild animals now. But I also have students that I met that started in middle school and now they're graduating high school and they've like just come around full circle back to where they were. But those middle school years are hard. I don't envy all of you. All right, who wants to share next?
I'll go. Hi everyone. My name is Macfina Long. This is my 2nd year teaching. I started as a 2nd grade teacher at Alps Road Elementary School. In 2021, I left for a year and I came back to the same school, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at this time. There's a huge difference. I have a very soft spot in my heart for 2nd grade. It's the perfect and sweetest spot in elementary school because, you know, you have those self-sufficient students who still needs the hugs and, you know, loving. And then you have kindergarten where they're like, please tie my shoes, please wipe my nose, please do this for me. So it's a huge adjustment. Classroom management skills. I feel like I'm very soft spoken. That could be a glow and an area for growth as well. My children, they need structure, and I'm very gentle. So it's hard. It can be hard sometimes, but they do love me. They're very kind to me most days. And I just really need help in keeping them engaged and just teaching them skills that will stick, because I'm still opening snacks at like week. I don't know which week we're in now, but they still need help like opening snacks and everything else. So I'm not used to that. My kid is a teenager. He's in 8th grade, so I'm way past that stage. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I relate to that as well. I've got an 8th grader and a 2nd grader at home, and like the skill level between the two of them is radically different. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right, I think I've got 2 people I haven't heard from yet. Ruth, will you share next?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Ruth. I'm a 1st year teacher at Whit Davis, 1st grade. I think my strength is in building a strong relationship with my children. I call them my children, my students. The thing that I need to work on is time management. I do have all my timers everywhere set up, but I still feel like I tend to rush towards the end of a lesson because I just need to get quickly done with this so I can go forward with that next part of the day. So time management is certainly something that I need to work on.
Time management is a big one. Thank you for sharing. All right, and Parrish Kent. Do you go by Kent or Parrish? All right, no problem. We'll come back to you. Okay, thank you,
Can you
everyone.
hear me?
Oh, yep, there you are.
Oh, hi. I go by Parrish. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. Glad you're here. So, will you share what you teach and then your strengths and weaknesses for classroom management?
Yes, so I'm a little different. I am the school counselor at BHL. I think that my strengths, I can connect with students very well. I kind of tell them like how to help them work on things. But I think my weakness is connecting with like all the students because it's like 700 students in our school. And so I always feel like there are students that I'm missing out on. And I'm trying to figure out more ways to connect with them.
Certainly, that's really hard. One of my best friends is the school counselor at our school, and yeah, there's more students than you'll ever actually get to connect with.
Definitely.
All right, thank you all for sharing. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next activity. This one's called a waterfall. If you're not familiar with what a waterfall is, it's when rather than everyone typing in the chat box and immediately hitting submit, it's like you hold your message in the chat box and then everyone hits submit at the same time. That way all of the answers trickle in at once, like a waterfall. So you're welcome to type your answer for this as soon as I read it, but then don't hit submit until I let you know it's time. And then that's when we'll be able to see everybody's answers and we don't have to, there will be like no copying answers, but it'll be like legitimate. If we have the same thought, we have the same answer, we know great minds think alike. So it's kind of that sort of an activity. It's fun. I'm going to show you a video real quick. You've probably, oh, seriously? All right, I'm going to search it because I'm sure, ignore my search list. I have a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old, so it's a little wild. Let's see. You've probably seen this video before. It's the TikTok video of the teacher who greets all of our students with different ways. Here we go. All right. So if you're not sure what's going on there, like she's got a little board right here by her classroom door, and the students, as they come up, are selecting a greeting from this menu of greetings. Some students will get hugs, some students get high fives, some of them are going to get that little hula hoop dance that they've been doing, or even just like a bow or a nod or anything else that meets the student's comfort level. Give me a quick show of thumbs up if you've seen this TikTok or one similar to it before, or maybe you have a teacher in your school who utilizes this practice. Maybe it's you. Cool. I've got a couple of people at my school that utilize a practice like this. So in the chat box, I'd love for you to share your impressions of this video and make connections to how this creates a positive classroom climate. So again, go ahead and type your response to this in the chat box. Don't hit submit just yet. Anywhere between 1 sentence and 2 sentences will probably be more than adequate for this. I'll give you 2 minutes to type that up. All right, quick show of hands. Does anyone need more time to finish typing? All right, awesome. Then in the count of 3, let's hit submit. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. All right, take a moment to read everyone else's response. All right, wonderful responses here. I appreciate everyone's input. And I did not know that fun fact about LeBron James. Thanks, Jacob. That's actually really cool. So yeah, I think that this connects to positive classroom climate. And I think a lot of you hit the nail on the head that building those relationships with learners, meeting them where they're at, and interacting with them at their comfort level based on how they feel that day are all really essential. Thank you. All right, we're going to dive a little bit deeper. The theme for this week is building a positive classroom climate. And I believe that there are a handful of layers to that, and we're going to go ahead and dig through those. One of the layers, layer 1, is growth mindset. So, and one way that you can improve your positive classroom climate is by normalizing mistakes and utilizing feedback to support growth. Number 2, social emotional learning. Things like icebreakers, journals, reflections, use of emojis can all be really helpful ways to allow students to share how they're feeling and build a sense of community in the classroom, which actually is number 3, building a sense of community. This can be accomplished with group work, peer reviews, team building, and fostering positive peer relationships. Number 4, get to know your learners. Remember those learner survey. Oh, that's not really applicable to you, but learner surveys often done at the beginning of the school year can give you some insight about what student interests are. Maybe your students are really into Pokemon. Maybe they're really into Minecraft. I clearly hang out with a lot of second graders. But so when you get to know the things that they like, you're able to integrate their interests a little bit into your daily teaching, and then it helps to build that relationship and also maybe help captivate their interest for some of the things. If you just put a random Pokemon in your daily write activity, that could get some students more excited about writing. Number 5 is build trust. Consistency is key for this. Trust is established over time when students can see that they can consistently turn for you for consistent practices. Number 6, make learning relevant. Ask discussion questions that allow learners to make connections between the lesson topic and their real lives. Show real-world application of the ideas students are learning and how this can impact their lives. Number 7, create a classroom code of conduct. Allow your students to be involved in the development of a class contract. Number 8, teach positive actions. Phrase rules positively instead of negatively. So for example, rather than don't touch others, you might say, keep your hands to yourself. I mean, if you teach in the earlier childhood years, I know we've got a kindergarten teacher here in the mix. When you tell them what not to do, you're only eliminating one behavior. But when you phrase it positively and you tell them what you would like to see, that helps them to succeed because they know exactly, it narrows the range of behaviors that they could do. Number 9, instill intrinsic motivation. Prizes, candy, and stickers are fun, but you want to reward growth and progress. And this connects to equity. It also teaches students to be self-motivated. Number 10, we've got a lot of these. Reinforce positive behaviors, positive narration, shout outs, quick and simple positive praise for participation or thoughtful answers. Number 11, engage positive role models. Support students in building positive relationships with other teachers, faculty members, or volunteers at your school. We're going to discuss a little bit more on this later with PLCs, but I know in this group we've got a school counselor and a behavior specialist. So the importance of making connections with those other adults that are working in our school and supporting our children, because not all of us are going to be all of our students' cup of tea, right? Like automatically there's some people we connect with better than others, and that's okay. You can always support students in developing positive relationships with the other adults at your school as needed. Number 12, always be positive. And I'm not talking about positive washing, but modeling a positive attitude in the classroom can really set the tone for an engaging and energetically light lesson. And again, it's okay to be human and express human emotions in front of your students. In fact, another one of my best friends is both a therapist and a math specialist, and I've seen we share classrooms, so I see him interact with students in a way where sometimes he's very honest about his negative emotions and in a very positive light, like, I'm feeling really frustrated or really tired or really sad today. And then he'll model some of his coping mechanisms, like, I'm going to take a couple of deep breaths. Will you guys do this with me? And that kind of creates the environment where it's okay to have negative emotions, but it's also important to learn to self-regulate and then move forward so we can conquer the content of our lessons. And importantly, equity versus equality. Some students will think that you're being unfair if the ESL student gets a word bank to complete the test. Some students will think you're being unfair when you let a student who hasn't eaten in 2 days break the no food in the classroom rule. Talk to your students about the value of respecting that our needs are all different and that sometimes we need different supports to achieve an equal level of success. Also, human needs fluctuate. You may have a student who just brought home a new baby sister from the hospital and no one in their house is sleeping. If that student falls asleep in your class, they probably need that sleep, but your class should understand that it's not nap time for everyone. So, I mean, I'm sure all of you can relate to this. Do you have students that say constantly, teacher, that's not fair? Yep. All right, cool. I'm getting some nods. Yeah, I experience this a lot too. And it can be a real challenge, but I think taking the time to express the difference between equity and equality and express that needs are different and that also those needs can change from day to day is totally acceptable for young learners at all ages to kind of take that in and process that now. All right, now our next activity. I'm going to put you in breakout rooms briefly to discuss strategies for building a positive classroom climate for your students based on age group. And I'm going to have you use this document to share. So I'm going to try and put you in groups based on your age, the age groups that you've expressed that you teach. I think we have majority middle school here. But we do have a couple of elementary teachers. And then I'm gonna have to ask, well, let me actually talk about the document before we worry about the grouping. So what I'd like for you to do is on the left-hand side, you're gonna make a list of a couple strategies that you and your group discuss for creating a positive classroom climate. On the right-hand side, we're gonna discuss some strategies for establishing classroom norms that are age appropriate for your age group. To add a little bit of clarity here, classroom climate is kind of like the vibe, the energy, the sense of community in your classroom. Whereas classroom norms are more like the values or community principles, the overarching values that your school and your classroom will uphold. So, for example, if you teach at an environmental school, then perhaps part of your classroom norms would include mindfulness about recycling and reusing and reducing items from the day. Or another really common example of a norm here would be respect. but any of these things are acceptable. And so I just wanted to clarify the difference there between classroom climate, which is the things you do to create a sense of energy, positive energy and environment. And then the norms are like the values or overarching principles, kind of like rules, but a little bit less specific than rules. Does that make sense? All right, excellent. Now for the challenging part, let's figure out where to put you for breakout rooms. Actually, I would love your help. I wrote down where everyone is, but if you would like to be grouped in the middle school group, go ahead and just put yes in the chat box right now. Beautiful. All right, if you would like to be put in the elementary age group, go ahead and put yes in the chat box. All right. And Jacob, what is your preferred age group? Your high school, is that correct? Okay. And
I can go anywhere though.
okay, and Ruth, what's your preferred age group? Oh, sorry, your mic's not on.
I typed yes for elementary.
Oh, okay. All right, perfect. Then Jacob, I'm actually going to drop you in the middle school group because that's closer to you're the only one here. It could be you and me though. I've got some high school students, but I think you'll get more out of the larger group. All right. So in this group, actually before I do that, let me drop this document for you in the chat box. It'd be awfully hard for you to work on it without the link. All right. I've dropped the link for this Google document in the chat box. Go ahead and click on that. Give me a thumbs up when you've got it open. Beautiful. And so we've only got 2 different age groups today, so you're only going to work on the elementary box and the middle school box. But I'm going to go ahead and give you, I think, 8 minutes will probably be a good round number for this. I'm going to go ahead and give you 8 minutes in these breakout groups, and then we'll come back together and we'll share as a full group. Any questions before we depart? All right, breakout rooms are live. We'll see you back in 8 minutes.
My laptop died.
So are you having to use your phone now?
No, I just ran to the car and got the charger out. I thought I had it in the house. So
Look
I'm
at you,
good.
that was fast. All right, everyone, welcome back. I saw a lot of really great input on that document, and it looks to me like you have a really clear understanding of the difference between a positive classroom climate and norms. But I just want to, before we dive into our activities for this week, I just want to quickly check in with you. Actually, let's just do one of these. If you're feeling pretty solid about norms and positive classroom climate, give me a thumbs up. A sideways for I could use more information, thumbs down for totally lost. Excellent. And I'm happy to allow some space here for questions if anyone has any clarifying questions on these two concepts. All right, beautiful. Then let's go ahead and take a look at our activities for this week. Actually, I built you guys a template for one of them. So the way, if you're familiar with Google, what you'll do is you'll take this template and you'll just go to make a copy of your own, and then you can use this template. It's totally optional. You don't have to use this template. I'm going to drop it in the chat box though, just so you know, so you can access it. And now let me show you why it's relevant. All right, so this is our platform. This is what it looks like when you log in. And actually, let's go ahead. We have a little bit of time. So if I could get everybody to just try and log into their platform. And once you get logged in, if you could just type in logged in the chat box to let me know, that'd be wonderful.
I don't know if I have the login credentials. I noticed when coming in today, it said I should have received a password, but I don't show having received that. Oh, you're on mute, Leah, if you're responding to me.
Yeah, it should come in via directly from the platform. So it'll come in like the Teach Now sort of robot messages that you've gotten. That's the way that your password will come in as well.
An email? Or?
Yes, and an
So
email.
I didn't receive a password either, but I'll put my email in and I pressed reset password and just created a new password and it let me in.
Perfect. All right, I've got one person logged in so far. Thank you, Jacob, and thank you for being patient with us. I think it's important for us to make sure we all can get this first step accomplished in this first VC. Awesome, Jade. Yay, Libby. Awesome, Parrish.
I'm sorry, but I do not know where to log in.
So the quickest way to get there is going to be, I'll copy and paste this link right here.
Oh, I thought there was something on the chat box that I missed.
Nope, you can click the link that I just dropped in the chat box, and that should bring you to the login page. All right, we're looking good. We're already up to like 80% of us logged in. This is excellent. And then I'll give you another minute. And then anyone who's still having trouble after that, I'm just going to hang out with you after the VC and we'll troubleshoot.
And
Wow.
and the password is the one that was sent in the email, or?
Yes. Not the email from me, but it should be the email from our admin.
Yeah, not that teach now, quote unquote, teach now password, just because that was what confused me earlier.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and dive into this week's activities. If you haven't logged in yet, don't worry about it. I'm going to stick around after the VC is over and we can make sure we can get you logged in, but it looks like we've got almost everyone logged in. So I'm really thrilled about that. So this is about what your login page will look like once you get in here. And for this week, Unit 1 has been unlocked for you to begin completing activities. When you open it up, you'll see that there are 3 activities for this week. The first one, creating a positive climate. This is the one that I created the template for, and this is the template. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat box one more time for you. And so this template exists because in the activity description, what you're going to be doing for this activity is creating a document of sorts. You're welcome to use the Google Slide template that I dropped in the chat box for you, or you're welcome to use any other kind of medium that you like. Maybe you're a big fan of Canva or Padlet, or you'd rather do a video. Any kind of creative way that you want to put this together is totally fine with me. But what I'm looking for here is that you're going to discuss a positive classroom climate and how to create it and maintain a climate that is conducive to learning. So basically everything that we've talked about here in the VC, utilize that. Also, up here in the activity resources, I've got some starred resources here. These are the ones that we encourage you to look through before completing this activity. This first one is actually one of my favorites. But take a look at these 3. They're all short. They're quick reads or short videos, and that'll help strengthen your knowledge of how to create a positive classroom climate before you create your document describing how you hope to create a positive classroom climate for your learners. Any questions on that activity?
So I have a question. It said that this is due on the 29th, but earlier did you say something about it being due the Friday before the night before the next meeting?
Yes, so the 29th, I believe.
It's Sunday.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. My brain thought it was Saturday when I said that, and that's on me. My apologies. I didn't mean to terrify you. No, it is due on Sunday. Today is Monday. My goodness. So it is due the midnight the day before our VC. Thank you for catching that.
Okay. So the 29th.
Yes, the 29th. That's accurate. And yes, the due date is listed right here as well. So that'll help you keep track of that as well. Macfina, you have a question?
Yes. After this meet, we have 2 more meetings, Zoom meetings. Okay,
Correct.
so next Monday, the following. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Good. All right. So just quick recap on this one. Take a look at these resources and then create a document. You're welcome to use the template that I've provided. It's optional to describe how you would like to create a positive classroom climate for your learners. All right, and actually the way that submission looks is right here, there's a submission tab, and it's gonna look like a little text box on your screen. It looks a little different on my screen because I'm looking at it from the instructor view. But in the text box, that would be the place for you to drop the link to the item that you created to demonstrate your positive classroom climate ideas. All right, let's take a look at the next activity. Activity 2 is universal norms. So we touched on norms briefly in that document that we discussed earlier. And again, you're welcome to use any of the ideas that we used on that shared document as well. And that's why I have you work on that. That way it's collaborative and it comes from your own experience. But for this one, you're going to review the articles up here that are starred. There's just one for this activity. And then you're going to create an infographic that lists 3 to 5 universal norms for your classroom. So again, this could be cleanliness, respect. I saw do your best written on a couple of yours there. So that would be appropriate. An infographic, if you've never made one of these before, is essentially a virtual poster. I think we've got a couple of, we don't have any listed examples, but Canva's a really good one. I highly recommend Canva. Let me write that down here for you as well. I'll add it to this activity. But Canva's a great tool for this, but you're gonna essentially create a poster using any tool you'd like where you list 3 to 5 norms for your classroom. And the idea behind this is that if you create it, you could also print it and then have it shared in your classroom. Or if you do teach virtually, you can add it to a slide deck and share this with your learners as they come and meet you for the first time in your classes. So quick recap on this one, creating a virtual poster with 3 to 5 universal norms for your learners. Any questions on this activity? And the submission is going to work the same. You'll click on the little submission button. A text box will pop in, and that'll be the appropriate place for you to drop your link. And then a little blue submit button will be right underneath the text box. You'll want to make sure you hit submit. It does not automatically save, so make sure you always hit submit once you've completed your work. And let's take a look at activity 3, setting high expectations. For this one, you're going to share on the discussion forum. So the discussion forum is a feature that is built into this platform right here. And it's sort of like a community discussion board or chat board. And you can access it up top, or actually it'll also be right here. But you can go to click on teach, or sorry, yours will be learn. And then you'll click on the little discussion forum here in the toolbar. Once you do that, and I'll actually start one here for you so you can just click on it and go. This will be a space for you to share your ideas about setting high expectations in the classroom.
If we click on the one that was in the module, it'll automatically come to this U1A3.
Yes, and actually by me posting this, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to access this. Let me just show you the shortcut I just created. All right, so when you click on it and you've opened up the activity, now my post will show up right here in the activity. You'll be able to open it up and then reply on it. So that'll kind of shortcut that process for you so you don't have to go dig for the discussion forum. But let's get to the content of what you're discussing here. So you're going to discuss if you believe that all students are capable of achieving success and why. Why is it critical for teachers to have the same high expectations of all students, regardless of their background, ability level, race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, or any other characteristic? What might be the impact on teaching and learning of a teacher who has low expectations of students? So these are the things we're going to discuss on the discussion forum. The second part of this activity, so step 1, share your responses to these questions in the discussion forum. You can access the discussion forum right here by clicking on my face. And then the second step is you're going to create a video. There are lots of wonderful tools for doing this. I'll share a couple of those for you as well. Any video making tool is acceptable here. But you're going to record a 3 to 5 minute video blog, synthesizing what you've learned in the process of your discussions. So in step 1, you've shared some of your ideas in the discussion forum, and you've had a chance to read some of the posts of your peers as well. So in your 3 to 5 minute video, you're going to share what you've learned from your peers and your own ideas, kind of summarizing all of that into a short video. Does that make sense? All right, so a quick recap on that. Step 1, sharing your ideas about these 3 questions in the discussion forum. Step 2, after reading what your peers and you have shared in the discussion forum, creating a 3 to 5 minute video where you discuss everything that you've learned. All right, do we have any questions on all of these? I know I shared a lot. It's okay to have questions.
When it referred to the virtual class, that is this experience? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, great question. Yeah, so I kind of back and forth use VC or virtual class, and they're both referring to this. All right, excellent. Well, it is 7:30, so I want to honor your time and let you go. I'm going to stick around for the next 10 minutes or so for anyone that has any questions, personal situations that they want to work around with the platform, or if you just need help getting logged in. Otherwise, I wish you all a wonderful week. I'm looking forward to seeing your submissions this week, and I'll see you next week on Monday, not Saturday, Monday.
Hi, Leah. I have a quick question. Is there a way for me to fix my name on a platform?
Yes. What you'll need to do is email our admin. So actually, have you gotten any emails from Joseph Pearson?
Let me see. Pearson. I don't think so.
Then I would reach out to help at Moreland.
Oh, I do. I got welcome to Moreland's University Professional Development.
He's the best person to reach out to for this because he'll make sure that our tech people get on it quickly. He's great about that. So, and he's also in charge of the PDs. So I would just send him a quick email asking if your name can be corrected on the platform and let him know what your preferred name is, and he will take care of that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course.
Bye-bye.
And my question would be really how to log in. I just went through all my emails. I do not see an email other than the one that you sent for with a password for this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see.
Okay, try clicking this login link, and then one of your other cohort peers here suggested doing the change password, and then that made it so she could log in. So let's try that route.
So, but if I hit reset password, then it might let me try that one if it's going to ask me.